Now, standing flat-footed, how high do you think you can jump? What do you think, 12, 18, maybe 24 inches? Well, you might not believe this, but when I was about 12 years old, I saw a kid jump up in the air about 7 feet high. Now, how can that be? Well, let me tell you about it. One night after supper, I asked my mom if I could go to the movies. She told me no. I said, but Mama, there's a new James Bond movie playing down at the Granada Theater. Everybody's watching it. I want to see it. Please let me go. No, you're not going. So I put on the longest face I could muster, and I whined as long as she could stand it. And she finally said, okay, you can go, but you better be back here before dark, because if you're not, I'm going to take my switch to you. Now, I took that warning pretty seriously because I was familiar with that switch. So I kissed her on the cheek, and off I went. I went down to the movie theater, got my ticket, took a seat in the front row, and I loved every minute of that thing. Well, the movie was over, and I was heading up to the lobby, and the special attractions reel started to roll. And I could see there was still a little daylight out there, so I went back to see what's coming soon. I sat there through that, and all of a sudden the double feature started up. And holy moly, it's Robinson Crusoe on Mars. Well, I can probably watch just a couple minutes of it. Now, watching a couple minutes of a movie for me is kind of like one lick on an ice cream cone. It's not going to happen. Before I knew it, that movie was over. I came up through the aisle, out into the lobby, and that daylight was long gone. Man, was I going to get it. So I took off on down the road, running as fast as I could, thinking that every minute that I shave off the clock is going to lessen the severity of the whooping I'm going to get when I get back there. So I came around the side of the Methodist church and decided to take the shortcut through the cemetery. Well, I'd been through there probably 100 times before, and so that didn't bother me one bit. But this was different because it was nighttime. And it was eerily dark that night, and there was just a little sliver of a moon to guide me. And as I was walking past those gravestones, I was thinking about who I was in there with. Dead people. And I passed underneath these great big trees with these old gnarly limbs just hanging down, reaching down over me, and it started to creep me out, so I thought I better step this up and start running. So I did. And I got to a full stride, and all of a sudden there was no earth under my feet, and I fell down, down, down into a freshly dug grave. Well, I tried climbing out of there, and of course there was nothing solid to grab onto, and the dirt was just crumbling down around my feet. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, if they just dug this hole today, they're probably going to put somebody in it tomorrow. So if I can just wait till daybreak, somebody's going to come and pull me out. So I began to wait. Well, as luck would have it, I heard a twig snap and footsteps coming in my direction. Of course, I had no idea who or what it might be, so I stepped back into the shadowy corner of this open hole in the ground and waited. Well, the footsteps came closer and closer, and my heart started pounding. And then those footsteps were right above me, and all of a sudden I heard this blood-curdling scream and a big thud down right in front of me. And there was this boy. And he was frightened out of his mind, trying to climb his way out and clawing and sliding back down and screaming and yelling his head off and saying, "Oh God, please get me out of this hole." He said, "I swear I'm going to be a better brother to my little sister, and I'm always going to listen to my mother if you'll just send an angel to carry me out of here and fly me home." And he was just a mess and went on, and I thought, it's probably not a good time to let him know he's not alone. So I stood back there and thought maybe after he settles down and collects his wits about him, I'll let him in on this. Well, about that time, he had exhausted himself, and he stood there looking up out of the hole at that little sliver of a moon. And in a trembling voice, he said, "God, don't let me go like this. Don't let the Grim Reaper come and get me." And I thought, well, this has gone on long enough. So I stepped out of the shadows, tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, "You're not alone." His eyes rolled into the back of his head. He started to tremble and shake, and he was just swaying like a sapling in the wind. And in a single leap, he jumped out of that thing like a circus clown right out of a cannon. And that's how I know he could jump 6 feet. Thank you very much.